Albert, take us into the vibe of the team right now, coming off of that 4-0 win. How good you guys feeling going into Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, I say always don't get too high when you win and not too low when you lose. So whether we would have won 1-0 or 4-0, this is a tournament, so it's about going through. And we're happy with the performance just as much as the result. And yeah, we're facing a team that we know very well. And I feel like we're due to beat them.
Going back to that Pumas game, talk a little bit about the physicality involved in what they arrived with, what they did to you guys, and how you were able to kind of hit them back.
Yeah, well, we expected it. It was a good lesson for us against Necaxa. When you play teams from different countries, it brings a little bit different vibe, I would say, to the game. Facing an opposition who you've played, multiple times against every season, and it just brings something extra, I would say, the games. It's almost similar like when we watched the World Cup and the Olympics and the Euros, when different nations meet. There's different energy in a game, and they have a different style of playing, and they brought their game to us, and for the first 35 minutes, even the first half, the game was very, very even, and would have the goal counted they scored, could have been a very different game. So the game is about goals, and with a bit of luck that they called their goal back for offside. We managed to score and then manage the game from there, and obviously add more goals second half.
We talked to Jordan and Paul and Andy, and they're all talking about how important it was that everyone was standing up for each other. Can we get your insight on that?
Yeah, well, that's another thing. I feel like the energy is just different when you play Liga MX teams, or where we had the Champions League run a couple years back, and we went to Honduras. It's just a different energy. I don't know how to really describe it, but it's something different than MLS, and we'll have to try and do our best to kind of bring the same mentality and mindset into the game this Saturday, even though we're playing an opposition that's from MLS.
Yeah, so how important is that you maybe set the tone early? I mean, that LAFC is a team that likes to play against the ball. They don't need possession. They're going to play on the counter. How important is it for you guys to control the tempo of that game?
By controlling tempo, I don't, we've had games where we had 70% ball possession against them, and when you have 70% ball possession, I feel like you're controlling the game, and yet we lost 3-0. So I don't know whether it's controlling tempo, maybe we sit back and let them have the ball and see what that does to them, But, we watch film from the last game we played them, and I think that's, another good learning point for us to see, what they want us to do, and kind of don't fall into that trap on Saturday.
Looking at that film, did anything give you particular confidence that this time would be different?
No, I mean, every game is different, and we're in a good form. We've beaten, Galaxy and Pumas, two really good sides. So it's not like there is no belief that we can beat them. We know we match well against them, and we can beat them. But as I said, we can fall into these little traps of keeping the ball and thinking we controlling the game, because like you guys said, they're not the team that wants to have the ball. They have fast players, especially on either side up top, and they're really good counter-attacking team. So maybe we have to be a little more aware of when we have the ball, what are we doing at the back,
And they've made some additions too. I mean, does that factor in, or how much do you think that some of the new players will?
No, I don't think they're going to change their starting 11. I think the starting 11 is set. They've also been in a good run of form. They don't lose that many games. But yeah, they have some players that they can bring off the bench later on in a game if they need a goal. Or if they need to defend the lead, they have multiple defenders on the bench as well. So they're a deep team. They're a good team as well. So yeah, minimum of what we need to do is what we did against Pumas, and maybe honestly a little more.
Do you feel that playing them so much how do you feel about playing them so much in such a short span?
It is what it is. I can't change it, honestly, and I know we're facing them in the Open Cup semifinals as well here again. So, I kind of feel like we have to win first, and then we can all talk, about how we feel about playing them. But as I said, we're due.
I have a question that's a little bit off topic, but I was kind of curious about you and the national team. Is that door completely shut? Are you not interested anymore, or the communication? Or just haven't had
That's
an
a good
opportunity to
question.
ask them?
I don't know if it's completely shut. It's almost shut, I would say. There's a bit of space there, but yeah, I mean, I haven't spoken to our coach since he took over. He is an Italian coach that came through, and I have no conversation with him ever since he took over. So I couldn't tell you, what it is or why it is that. But yeah, that's just how it is.
You're still in your prime, so I mean, it's like when you say that, is it something that you would want to do still, beyond just I'd like to play my country? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's something that I would have to think about if the call-up came. It's not like if the call-up came that I would be like, oh my goodness, yes, I'm coming. It's something that I would have to think about and honestly just speak to him. It's I don't know. It's never happened to me where a coach wouldn't make contact with you for multiple years, but it's not like I lose sleep over it.
Yesterday the transfer window closed. Teams all around the league were making moves. You guys didn't make any moves. Is that something that you pay any attention to? Is it something that you care about?
First of all, I didn't know the transfer window closed, so thank you for that. And I mean, I keep track of if the club is interested in a player, and obviously the headline moves around the league, and seeing if a player that I've played with, comes to the league, or another Slovakian, So I do keep track, but it's not something that I set notifications to get on my phone. So it's one of those that, I'm aware of what's going on. But at the same time, the club hasn't decided to sign anyone, and and I think we have a good squad, and take away a couple of injuries that we had earlier on in the year, actually more than a couple, and still a couple of guys now coming back. If we can get everybody back to being fit, we'll have a good deep squad.
What was your reaction earlier this year when LAFC made the move for Olivier Giroud?
Yeah, I mean, he's a great player. We can't deny that. Even though he's a little bit older, he can still score goals. Being in a team like LAFC, they will create chances most of the game, so he will have opportunities to score, and definitely a great signing for the league and a great signing for LAFC as well.
Are you at all surprised that? Oh, sorry. Are you at all surprised that when you guys took the field against Pumas, that it was pretty much almost the same roster? I mean, that just doesn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a lot of people talk about like how we almost had identical roster, and they kind of try to say like a negative thing about it. I think it's more worrying where you have a completely different roster 2 days after you made it to Champions League final. So, it just shows that the players who are here and have been successful in years prior and have won almost every trophy other than Leagues Cup, they deserve to stay here, and they're kind of the spine of the team and the spine of the club, I would say. And then they keep playing an important role for Seattle Sounders, with obviously a couple of changes and a couple of new players. But I think it's more worrying that you change your entire roster in 2 years than the fact that you keep almost the entire roster in 2 years.